welcome to Missions Minutes with Hal and Jane Ward at vnministry.com. Well, here we are in Spain, and we're still on a huge lockdown due to the coronavirus crisis. We'd like to talk to you about what the Bible has to say about difficult times and our response to them.
Right, so we're going to talk about Habakkuk, and to do that, we've got some figs or fig preserves. We've got some Spanish grapes and Spanish olives. And the prophet Habakkuk lived during very difficult, tumultuous times, and he wanted to know why. He asked God why. The book of Habakkuk is basically a conversation between the prophet and God. And that's comforting to me because prayer is talking to God. And God wants to have a conversation with us. He wants to hear from us. He wants us to pour out our hearts to Him. He's not afraid of our questions. He's not afraid of our anxieties or our worries. And we can talk to Him about what's going on in our lives, even during difficult times like these. And that's exactly what Habakkuk did. He asked, why? Why are we going through all the things that we're going through? And sometimes God's answers weren't exactly what He expected. And that's often the case with us. In Habakkuk 1, verse 5, to the response of the question why, God says, "Look among the nations, observe, be astonished, wonder, because I am doing something in your days you would not believe if you were told."
You know, this coronavirus has caught everybody off guard. It's a big crisis. But God was not surprised. We don't believe He sent this sickness, but He is sovereign over all of history, and He's at work right now in the entire world. It might be a healthy thing for us to maybe get our minds off our own circumstances for a while and see God's work right now among the nations.
That's right. For example, one of the places in the world where Christianity has been growing the fastest is in the nation of Iran, which is a Muslim country where they persecute Christians. Yet Christianity is growing there. One of the things that's happened during this crisis is in Iran, because they're trying to stop the spread of the virus in the prisons, they've let out many Christians who have been imprisoned for their faith. So that's something that God is doing. And I wonder, what else is God doing around the world? So Habakkuk continues to press God for answers to why. And again, God has a different perspective. He tells the prophet in chapter 2, verse 14, "For the earth will be filled with the knowledge of the glory of the Lord as the waters cover the sea." And that's really an awesome prayer for us. An unseen virus has spread like wildfire around the world. No one's talking about anything else. But yet God says that the knowledge of His glory will be greater than that. It'll be like the waters covering the sea.
You know, we've been doing some videos, short videos in Spanish and in Basque to share people about the love of God, about hope, and about the good news. And God's allowed us to reach thousands in Spain and in France. What about you? What's your message? What part will you play? Maybe you're an intercessor and can pray for missionaries on the field to be able to get out the message of Jesus and His love, or maybe you can help financially. We can be involved, all of us, in spreading God's glory to the nations.
That's right. So finally, Habakkuk finishes asking his questions and just decides to trust God. And he says in chapter 3, verse 17, very famous verse, he says, "Though the fig tree should not blossom, and there be no fruit on the vines, though the yield of the olive should fail, and all the fields produce no food, though the flock should be cut off from the fold, and there be no cattle in the stalls, yet I will exult in the Lord, I will rejoice in the God of my salvation."
That's good. Yeah, many people in Spain and France are suffering right now. Many people in the United States and in Canada are suffering. There's suffering all over the world. Perhaps you lost your job. Maybe you're sick. Or maybe you know someone that's really sick. Well, we don't have the answers for every little thing, but we do know that God is sovereign. He's moving among the nations, and He's moving in our lives. And right now, the best bet is to put all of your trust in God.
So even if we don't have these things, we trust God. Just like Habakkuk also said, the just will live by faith. So let's have faith and just continue to spread God's love around the world.
So we'll see you next time on Missions Minutes.